years trying to salvage those limbs, but then last 2 years ago, he decided to just cut both of them off, and he's never been happier.
A double amputee, and he's going twice as fast as most of the people on this mountain.
Stepping up his game right there, looking solid on that run. Next up, it looks like Alex Riviera, coming out of Columbus, Ohio.
18 years old, and he lists his sponsors here, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
So Mom and Dad getting Alex out here onto the mountain to compete here in Breckenridge, Colorado. Beautiful morning here. We've increased in temperature to about 2 degrees. Now we're at about 10 degrees, so it is cold, but it's bluebird skies. Breckenridge is providing the canvas for these riders to rip down this banked slalom course. And so far, the times we've had come in, already exceeding what we saw down here last year.
Yeah, people are flying. Gable, I believe, is in first place right now with a 41.64. We got Alex Riviera on course right now, goofy rider.
So what do you think, goofy versus regular? Any advantages here today?
I would say regular has a slight advantage because some of the harder turns are kind of to the right there and you're on your toes. But it's pretty close. Bank slalom back and forth. There we see Alex coming through right now. Not quite sure what his time was, but coming out of Columbus, Ohio, solid run for Alex Riviera.
This will be fun. Coming up next, Evan Strong, representing Haiku, Hawaii, from the island of Maui.
That's right, the flying Hawaiian, Evan Strong, living in Tahoe right now, but he's coming via Hawaii. He is has a 4-year-old daughter, and he's expecting another baby here in January. And he is pretty dominant on the bank slalom scene, so we'll see what happens. Evan Strong always pushes the limits. He either wins or he crashes into the fence.
He's one of these dudes that's just good at everything, you know, and you know, the fact that you see what he's doing right here was obviously proves that he is very fast on a snowboard. So again, coming from the island of Maui, he's flying there.
A ripping skateboarder as well. You should see this guy rolling around with his prosthetic. Backlips, disasters. He's unbelievable on a skateboard. Coming across the finish line. Not quite sure what the time was there, but looking like a fast run for the flying Hawaiian, Evan Strong.
And check this out. We are being joined by one of the voices of Dude Tour and, of course, a Paralympic commentator. Brad J is in the building. Brad, welcome to our Adaptive Snowboard Final presented by Toyota. We're already seeing incredible times. Let's just get right back to it. This is James Barnes Miller from Great Britain. He is represented by the Riders Lounge. And again, Brad, we're already seeing some faster times than we saw last year.
Well, I mean, having bank slalom is the coolest thing ever when it came down to this, and when Dude Tour doing this, and also having bank slalom at the Paralympic Games in Pyeongchang was the most amazing thing to the Paralympics, I think. And Dude Tour taking the step and bringing it out here, it's awesome being part of it.
Yeah, Toyota, a big sponsor of all para-athletes. Awesome to have them supporting this here at the Dude Tour. Very cool. James Barnes Miller coming out of Great Britain right now.
They're pretty cool. We have a couple competitors out of Great Britain. And, you know, we have this deep international field. And not only riders from around the world, but also riders from places you might not think of being hotbeds of snowboarding, like Houston, Texas. Of course, we've got Australia from Brisbane coming up later on. Simon Patmore. So a deep international as well as national field.
And Brenna Huckabee out of Louisiana. Not a lot of snow down there. But looks like Ben Tudhope coming from Australia on course right now. One of our youngest competitors at 18 years old. This guy always has a smile on his face. Such a good kid.
Look at that style too.
He is ripping.
This guy has a lot of flow.
Yeah, this is definitely Ben Tudhope right there. Just got kind of the wrong graphic there on the screen, but Ben Tudhope, he was actually one of the first competitors to compete in a World Cup at under 14 years of age. They made an exception for this kid to get him in because he's such a ripper.
Pretty sure this dude surfs as well. You can tell the arm placement, and I would love to see him do any sports because I feel like style always, you know, when you go across all board sports with a style like that, you're going to look good on anything you do.
And you can tell, Chris, like you're saying, you can tell the surf style, you can tell the skate style, like a guy like Evan Strong or something like that. You can tell the difference on these riders.
This is Zach Miller right here, Denver, Colorado, 19 years old.
Zach Miller is a mean soccer player. So he's on an adaptive soccer team as well. He's being out here trains over in Winter Park, and then he was over at Copper with Adaptive Action Sports, training with Amy Purdy and Dan Gale.
And they got a great program over there, don't they, over at Copper with that?
Yeah, unbelievable program they have over there. A lot of Dustin Fleming, another member of their team over there, so we'll see him a little bit later on. But Zach Miller, another young kid, 19 years old, soccer player out of Denver, Colorado, pumping hard over those rollers, coming into the finish line.
Charging the goal right there is what he's doing, charging the goal. Hey, we apologize for some of the font you may see as a different rider that we're announcing out. Travis knows his rider, so believe me, I trust Travis when he calls him out.
Just listen to us. Let's talk about some of the training that these riders go through. Of course, you got the physical training, but then you have the technical training, the adjustments that have to be made with the prosthetics that they're using in these races, as we see Alex Massey right now. What do they do on both sides of the coin there?
Alex Massey was actually in a boating accident. His leg went into a propeller, so he's just missing his leg below the knee.
So he's an LL1, that would be the terminology for that? He's classification?
Yeah. He is LL1, and he is a pretty big dude. He's got some weight behind him.
He's a big dude, he is.
Yeah, Massey, the big Canadian, and I mean, he actually, a couple years ago, probably weighed about 50 more pounds, so he's really put in some work to lose some weight, and he is ripping out there right now.
Doubling up right there.
Getting the double, yeah.
Nice.
So what you're not seeing is the top of the the top of the course here, this bank slalom, is there will be adjustments being made to the actual prosthetics. You know, there will be tightening and loosening of joints to really adapt to the course at hand. You know, that's the other factor that you don't see in the other snowboarding and skiing events through the day is, of course, the technical element, the high-tech aspect of the actual, you know, limbs that have been added to some of these riders.
And John Leslie, actually, they took his ankle and made it into his knee joint. So he's a below-the-leg LL1, but he has an ankle as a knee joint, which isn't quite as functional as a full knee joint. So pretty good story here, John Leslie coming out of Canada.
Look at him. He's looking solid, too. He's on edge, keeping it good, airing it out right there, landing in the sweet spot on the transition.
Big air on that hip. Leslie, you see at the double no, he chooses to pump it right there. Coming into the finish line. We'll see the time to beat. I think Gable had the fastest on that first run so far, but I'm not sure. Evan Strong looks solid as well. It is hard to say, but everybody looking fast.
Generally speaking, we start to see faster times as we get down into the field here. As you're sitting on top right now, you can look down and see the lines that are being taken by riders that went ahead of you. So the guinea pig runs, those first runs that go down, as you see Mike Miner here getting ready, 28 years old, Pennsylvania.
That's right. He's one of our first upper limb guys.
Yeah, and he comes away with 2 medals from the Paralympic Games. He was a bronze in the UL category, in bank slalom he was gold. So I'll tell you what, Mike Miner's got the skills, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he already this year has stepped up and I believe won the first 2 World Cups over in Finland. He's charging. This kid is a rocking skateboarder as well, and you'll see it in his style. He loves freestyle, throwing rodeos, backflips, loves the rails. He does it all. So you'll see Mike Miner as a pure charger when it comes to bank slalom. He's our first upper limb guy that I've seen out here so far. You can see just that right arm.
You know, we say adaptive riders, basically they've had to adapt and overcome to some of the challenges that they've faced. So you see right here with the back arm with Mike Miner, you know, what are some of the things that he would have to change up? Yeah, right there, adapting to the course by blasting in air right there.
Throwing a little shifty in there.
Yeah, he was talking some big game about a rodeo flip potentially on his second run. We'll see what happens. Mike Miner charging across the finish line right there, getting the grab.
I think I saw him do that. It had that rodeo flip that you're talking about. I think he did that in Pyeongchang, didn't he?
I believe that he did.
Yeah, and he shocked everybody out there in Korea. No one expected him to drop that one.
All right, guys, got an update as to your leaderboard right now. Evan Strong is in first place, 39.24. Ken Dustin Fleming, representing Houston, Texas, overcome a 39.24 time.
He's one of our Marines out there, a vet. Dustin Fleming, team Semperfi, also training with Adaptive Action Sports over in Copper Mountain. Dustin is, he's always got a big smile on his face, a nice southern boy. He says y'all. Smiles.
He does say y'all.
He's ripping right now, coming in.
He's got some good lines. He's trying to stay close to the gates. That's solid stuff right there.
You're looking solid. He's a goofy rider, so some of those heel turns can be a little bit difficult on this course, but he looks like he's standing pretty solid. He is also LL1, just missing that leg below the knee.
Now, I'm going to knock on wood here, but what I'm seeing so far is good, clean riding. No slams yet. Hopefully all these riders got the slams out of the way in the practice area. I got your top 3 here. Zach Miller currently with that 3rd place run. We got Ben Tudop in 2nd and Evan Strong in the lead for now. But all these riders will have 2 goes here in this bank slalom, so you know those times are going to be decreasing, which is good.
Evan Strong, he's the silver medalist for bank slalom in Pyeongchang. So Evan Strong is no slouch when he takes the lead. And you know what? You got to look at this guy too, Matty Surhamari. He is too, bronze in bank slalom too as well. So this guy can get her done too, man.
Yeah, if there's somebody that can challenge Evan Strong, it's going to be this guy right here, Matty Surhamari, coming out of Finland.
They go against each other all the time.
Yeah, they're always battling it out in border cross and bank slalom. And Matty is a strong Finnish rider that has a couple pounds on Evan, so we'll see if that can pay off here. Coming down across the finish line, the time to beat a 39.24 of Evan Strong. Let's see what Matty Surhamari has got as he crosses the finish line.
So the timing element, of course, starts when you cross the field and enter into this bank slalom, finishes down at the green line. So the same timing element you'll see around the world in the Olympics and the Paralympics and all these events we see. So right here we got Owen Pick from Great Britain, from Cambridge.
That's right. He is also a member of the military over there in England. So cool to have full international field of vets from all over the world. Part of the British Special Forces.
Current standings, Evan Strong. And here you see Matty Surhamari jumps up into 2nd place with Ben Tudop in 3rd.
So funny to see those guys 1 and 2. I feel like I always see them 1 and 2, whether it's going to be switched the other way or the way it is right now.
That's right, Owen Pick on course right now. I wonder, a little mistake there. Probably not going to be fast enough to beat Evan, the Flying Hawaiian's run, because he was charging Owen across the finish line. We'll wait to see what his time is, but right now, Evan Strong, then Matty Surhamari, and Ben Tudhope, top 3.
The international field continues. Simon Patmore from Brisbane, Australia. He's 31 years old, representing Andersonnet. So here goes Simon.
And Simon, another one of our upper limb guys that we saw out there. We saw Mike Miner and then Simon right here. Simon doing pretty well at the first couple of World Cups. I believe he got a podium over in Finland as well. So see him right here with that back limb just kind of hanging. So he's charging through. Goofy rider. And those heel rides. Simon has really improved his riding the last couple of years. Put in a lot of work. That whole Australian team is really focused. They've been training hard, getting on the snow as much as they can, and spending their winters up in the northern hemisphere, and then getting down to Australia for the winter down there. So they're full year-round on snow.
Oh yeah, it's 12 months out of the year. It's not, you're not doing a 5-month deal. You're doing 12 now. You know, you look at the way it's building too, and the way from Paralympics to Dew Tour and all these events and the World Cups. It's amazing to see it action. It's great to see that these athletes have an avenue that they can compete in.
And Simon, a big smile on his face as he crosses the finish line. Not sure if that's going to be enough to beat Evan Strong's time. But next up, it looks like we got Daniel Strasbaugh coming out of New Windsor. He's another one of our Team Semperfi guys in the military.
31 years old.
Of course, speed reigns supreme, but when you see a rider come through with good, clean style, adding power through those turns, it seems like those are the 3 things that are going to elevate these riders up to the top of the current standings, where Evan Strong right now has a stranglehold on the first place run for now. As you see Daniel rolling through this mid portion of the course.
How do you think wax plays in on this, Travis, today? I mean, we've had so much different weather over the last 2 weeks, cold, warm, cold, warm. What do you think that does to the speed?
It was really cold this morning, and there was quite a bit of static in the snow. I know Evan Strong was telling me that he used some graphite wax. And it seems like it paid off pretty well to cut down on that static.
He just gave his secret away. Now someone else is going to go buy that.
Yeah, get out there. Get your graphite wax for that second run, boys, if you want to beat Evan Strong.
He's got medals, man. He knows.
We've been through our first 15 riders here. All of these riders will get 2 runs. So, of course, if history repeats itself, we'll see these times decrease in this next round. Evan Strong right now, followed by Matty Surhamari and Ben Tudop currently in 3rd, 39.24. The time to beat for now. Of course, all these riders will get 1 more run here. This is the Adaptive Snowboard Final presented by Toyota. We have the ladies coming up next. Of course, Amy Purdy, local legend, hometown hero, will be competing.
Yeah.
You said representing Team Toyota. She is an incredible spokesperson, not only to the sport of adaptive snowboarding, but to snowboarding in general.
Just as a person in general, it's unbelievable. You talk to her, you watch her TED Talks. She is an unbelievable speaker. But right here, talking about that moto knee, you can see it right there. As Brenna Huckabee's knee is exposed because she likes to sometimes adjust that shock. So she likes to just get right in there and be able to get to that shock right away. So you can see her leg exposed right there. She's an above-the-knee athlete, and she is a mother, too. 22 years old and has a little baby. She's awesome.
Well, this is rad. So we're just going to rip straight through the entire field of men and women. We had 15 men, and now we're going to get into our 10 women. So we're going to see our men and women all would take their first runs. They're going to go back to the top of the lineup with the men to see the second and final runs for these riders. So now we're into it. This is the Women's Adaptive Snowboard Final presented by Toyota. Starting off with Brenna Huckabee from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Is there good snow in Baton Rouge?
Not
God,
so
I would
much.
not think so. Not Louisiana. I mean, I'm thinking about New Orleans. I'm not seeing snow. But one thing Brenna does know, she knows about the medal because she has a Paralympic medal from Pyeongchang, gold medal.
Coming up next, Peggy Martin.
She's our oldest competitor right now. Peggy Martin riding for Saucer Wax. We'll see if that pays off on course right now.
54-year-old ripper.
Okay.
Peggy Martin, always super stoked. She's out here. She's one of our oldest competitors, but the biggest smile on her face, always super excited to be here. She has a great fan base that comes out and cheers her on. It's so cool.
I love watching these events in particular because there is definitely a family kind of element, unity with all of our adaptive riders. Of course, that's wiped away when they drop in, but it's really cool to see all of our riders out here supporting each other and getting psyched for each other. Of course, they are feeding off each other. When these times start to come in, you start to see the fire in the eyes of some of these riders.
Well, look, no doubt about it, Chris. They're friends, like when they're not competing against
before they go through the first gate.
Yeah, but once they go through the first gate, they want to beat each other no matter what. That's what they want to do.
Ooh, and Peggy getting into the B-net right there. Looks like she is okay, though. She's getting back up, getting back on course.
Tough customer.
That shows you the aggression that they're riding with right now.
Yeah, Peggy charging right there, just went a little high on the bank and ended up in the B-net, but she's up, she's back on her feet, and she's okay.
54 years old and charging. I like to see that.
This is our second rider for the Women's Adaptive Snowboard Final, presented by Toyota. Peggy has one more run, so we're only giving these riders 2 opportunities, so hopefully practice will have paid off for our rider. So most likely that will be a no-go for Peggy, but she will have one more chance. Coming up next, Cecile Hernandez Surveillon, and from what I hear, this is a fast woman on a snowboard.
Yeah, she's won some medals at the Paralympics as well.
Yeah, she scored the bronze out there. She got the bronze medal in, what was that? And that was it in bank slalom?
Oh, and actually, this is Amy Purdy right there.
Oh, we got Purdy already.
Yeah,
straight into. Well, I heard the cheers from the hometown crowd, so that should have told me right there that this was Amy Purdy.
And Amy's got 2 medals from Pyeongchang. She's got a bronze out there and a silver from Russia in 2014.
Yeah, in Sochi, she was silver medalist. Yeah, she's charging right here. One of our few people with 2 prosthetics. She's missing both her legs below the knee. She's running 2 of those moto ankles with the Fox shock, and Amy Purdy, an unbelievable spokesperson for adaptive athletes everywhere and just people.
Just people. And you talked about the impairment in one leg. That's an LL1. Hers is an LL2. That's 2 legs. And she has to compete against competitors who have just one leg problem. So she says that's one of the hardest things for her to have to do is compete against someone who's not handicapped like she is.
And she is missing like both those legs. So you know, like if you have one leg, you can at least feel the board. You can't feel the board. You got to feel it just like from your knees down. It's really tough. But Amy Purdy ripping right there, a solid first run.
What I love about Amy too is she will tell you anything. You know, you ask her any questions about what she does, how she does it, and again, she is just a wealth of knowledge.
She's the one who told me that about, look, I'm racing against girls that only have one problem. I have 2 legs that I'm dealing with.
Here goes Kiana Clay representing Corona, California.
She's riding on a Burton snowboard. She's one of our upper limb ladies out here. You can see that right arm charging though.
So Corona, California, I guess Bear Mountain would be her mountain then, right?
Yeah, she's riding up at Bear, and then I think she gets up to Tahoe every now and again, so very cool to see her out here.
overview so far of the winters. We see these incredible conditions here, bluebird skies, a nice snowpack already here at Breck. What do some of these adaptive riders and all snowboarders and skiers have in store? Brad, you've been around, you know what's up. Tell us about your foreshadowing for what we're going to see conditions-wise, not only throughout the rest of Dew Tour, but also through the winter.
Well, I'll tell you what, first of all, this has been the fastest winter I've seen kick in so many years. And there's so many times when you try and schedule an event early in December or mid-December that you can't get enough snow to build slopestyle courses, to build a bank slalom, to build a half pipe. But this year started out with a bang, and it's just supposed to get bigger and bigger. So I think we're going to have a record-setting year here for sure.
That's good news for Kiana Clay. Just getting to the end of her run there. That means she has had plenty of practice, good warm-ups for this event, and we'll be looking forward to an incredible winter to come. So following Kiana will be Arlene Cohen from Miami, Florida.
Yeah, Arlene.
Again, another snow hotbed, Miami, Florida.
Arlene Cohen coming out of Florida. She actually lives over here in Summit County for the winter to train. She's over there with Adaptive Action Sports, Dan Gale and those guys. Arlene, a mother. She's always running her kids around. Every time I see her, she's going to pick up somebody from ballet, going here for this event, doing that, and then training on the side.
There's some fast moms in this division.
She just can do it all, right? And then train down here in the winter and back to sunny Florida in the summertime. Arlene
Cohen on course right now, and she's 49 years old. Wow. You never know it when you see Arlene. She's just full energy all the time, and
full speed too.
Some of the more difficult courses, Arlene has to really psych herself up to hit some of the bigger jumps and the bigger features, and she's just out there charging though, going for it. It's pretty cool to see her progress through.
Yeah, and Arlene, hey, if your kids are watching, hey, Arlene's kids, your mom rules. She just put up an incredible time.
Put down Fortnite and watch your mom snowboard right now because she is good.
All right, following Arlene will be Sandrine Hamill.
Coming out of Quebec, Canada, so she's used to the cold temperatures, for sure.
I'm not.
So this could be to her advantage is what you're saying, Travis, right?
Okay. That is what I'm saying. I mean, the cold temps not bothering her at all. Sandrine Hamill charging. I actually haven't seen her compete. This is my first time watching her, so.
Well, of course, it's a different skill set that these riders are showing us right now. It takes a lot of different types of training, double the training than you'll see in the men's and women's ski and snowboard for the rest of the Dew Tour. So again, that just shows you the dedication and the perseverance that these riders go through to get to this level. Double training.
And you look about bank slaloms, the history of bank slalom. Mountain Baker has been the one forefront in the bank slalom, and seeing the Olympics or Paralympics put it in, and then seeing Dew Tour stand behind it. This is what it's about. I mean, I used to go to the skate parks many years ago, and all I'd ride was the snake runs. And they're like a mini bank slalom. So the bank slalom it's so surfy, it's so skatey, and it's so snowboardy all at the same time.
Really accessible for anybody to get out there and rip those bank turns, and now it's here, Toyota bringing it to the Dew Tour.
I was excited, you guys. I saw it. I was like, yes!
This is Danae Russell representing Sturgis, South Dakota.
Okay.
Home of the world's biggest motorcycle rally.
And not too far from Mount Rushmore, right?
There you go.
Okay.
That's all we know of us. And now we know that Danae comes from there.
So there's three things.
A fast rider. Yeah, there's three famous elements of Sturgis, South Dakota.
And she's running upper leg, moto knee in the front.
Now you're saying a Fox shock is what they're using on those?
They're running a Fox shock in the knee joint and in the ankle joint on that moto knee.
So those are their Fox that they would use for like downhill mountain biking? Is that
very similar?
Yeah.
Actually, that's what when Mike Schultz developed that knee, he took the shock off of his bike and put it onto his knee.
It's fitting that she comes from a motorcycle town because again, a lot of the technology that you'll see these riders, with the prosthetics that they're using, this is technology that you'll see in motorsports and mountain biking. So I like to see all those things come together to give these riders the best opportunity to go fast, like we just saw right there from Danae Russell. And we got Brittany Corey coming up from Durango, Colorado.
The Durangatang, Brittany Corey.
Durangatang.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She's charging, Colorado local.
Silver medal, too, at Pyeongchang for her, too.
Yeah, very cool. Medalist at Pyeongchang, and she's kind of, I would say younger and up and coming at 32 years of age, but she's just new to competing just 3 years ago.
So, do we see rivalries going down from these different resorts in Colorado? Or do the Durango riders, they have it out for the Breckenridge riders?
Maybe
There's
a
a
little
little territorial stuff going on there, right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit for sure. Coming from the southern part of the state here, Brittany Corey, definitely riding down at, they used to call it Purgatory. Now it's Durango Mountain Resort.
Maybe like hide your competitor's gloves or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Purgatory.
Ah, there you go. Purgatory, I like it.
Flying. So you see that high-speed finish there?
Coming down across right into...
I like that. I like that. Leave it all to the end.
Charging all the way to the end. Brittany Corey right there down across the finish line. Very cool.
Face shot.
10th and final rider of our Women's Adaptive Snowboard Final presented by Toyota is Michelle Salt, the Canadian, coming through. Now she knows the times that she has to beat with Amy Purdy currently in the lead. She's got to put this thing down.
Now you talked about talked about her setup. Is she running the same side of?
She's running the moto knee as well, but she's running it in the back.
Okay.
Yeah, so we saw Danae running that moto knee in the front, which I think would be very difficult. I think it might be a little easier. Most of the guys I know are running it in as their back leg. But we see, as we see Michelle Salt here, she's a real estate agent out of Alberta, Canada.
And we would love for all of you out there watching, get involved. You have the list of riders for our men's and women's adaptive snowboarding finals. Follow them on Instagram. Get to know the backstories because these are truly some incredible athletes. A lot of these athletes had later in life either accidents or incidents occur. So they had to relearn how to snowboard. They had to, relearn how to train their bodies. And as you can see, they've adapted. We call it adaptive. So they've adapted to their situations and they've made it work. And now we're seeing incredible times flying down this.
I also think that's why, Brenna Huckabee in the lead, Amy Purdy in second, Senator Hamilton that third spot. I also believe that too, that's why the ages don't matter. Because whenever an injury happens to them, it doesn't matter what age you are, they're still competing. So when someone's 16 or 17, it doesn't matter. You're going to be going against somebody who could be 35 or a mom with 2 kids at 45.
I love it. So your current leader right now is Brenna Huckabee. So with that time coming down, hi, I'm Chris Cote, Travis McLean, and Brad J. And we are super excited to present to you the final runs for our adaptive snowboard final presented by Toyota. We have 15 men, we had 10 women. Right now, Evan Strong is in the lead for the men. But the second run, the final run that these riders, this is where things get wild. And this is where we're going to see some no holds barred, full force, full speed snowboarding happening.
Yeah, we're getting ready for that second run right now. We're going to see Keith Gable kicking things off. He's going to be our first rider on course, coming out of Ogden, Utah. He's living in Aspen, Colorado right now. See Gable at the top of the course, getting ready to drop in, and we are racing.
And a silver medal for him in Pyeongchang. So he came away with the medal too, just last February, or last March, I should say. And here he is right now, going to work. Second and final run for this man.
It's going to come down to just smoothness. Coming down this bank slalom, of course, that good start at the top and the strong finish at the bottom. We saw Brittany Corey leave it all on the mountain with her finish. So now it's up to the men to step up to the line in the snow that the women just drew.
The Ogden boy here.
And Gable running his prosthetic in that front leg too, which I think would just be hard. But he was a regular snowboarder and he had his accident and then decided I'm regular, that's how I'm going to be. A lot of people switching it around, but Keith Gable across the finish line.
Solid run.
Slashing across the finish line right there for Gable.
The time to beat of Evan Strong, a 39.24. We'll see what Gable gets right there.
You look pretty fast in that one. Could he have challenged that time, guys?
A 40.08. So not quite sure where that's going to put Gable in the mix of things, but a fast second run from Keith Gable.
I think that puts him around third or fourth, I think.
Well, Tyler Burdick representing Salt Lake City, Utah. Also, the Semper Fi Fund. So you got to give it up to our military for backing these athletes. Yeah. And of course, we have multiple veterans competing in the men's division here today, and we thank them for their service. And of course, any of you service members are watching, we know who you're cheering for right now. I mean, let's be honest. With this, again, there are grudge matches. There are highly competitive riders in this field of 15 men. And right now, this is your second rider going for his second and final run, Tyler Burdick.
Tyler Burdick in the military. He decided last year that he was going to just take both his legs off. So he is like Amy Purdy, missing both his legs below the knee. His Humvee blew up. And then if you ever want to ride powder at Snowbird, he's the man to follow. He knows Snowbird like the back of his hand.
It's always good to have that personal guide when you go to a mountain that you may not know as well. And this is the guy you want to do snowboard with.
He's a local legend at Snowbird. They know him there. Everybody knows Tyler Burdick. I know there's some people from Utah watching right now, for sure. Tyler Burdick on course, and he rode snowboarded for years with tried to limb salvage. His legs were always broken, pins in there, huge feet. Then he decided to amputate both his legs, and he has really adapted well to both of these prosthetics.
Wow, that is what a major decision that he had to put in his mind that he wanted to go do that. But you know what? Look at how it paid off for him. Riding good, probably less to deal with, and now he just focuses on what he's doing, and that's crossing finish lines with a fast time.
The guy's a warrior.
Yeah, he is.
He really is.
He had a slam there mid-run, so most likely he'll have to lean on the time for his first run. So from Tyler Burdick, we go to Alex Riviera from Columbus, Ohio. 18 years old, sponsored by, as we said earlier, Mom and Dad.
Mom and
it's
Dad.
It's the best sponsor you can have. I mean,
yeah, Alex Rivera charging right here. I haven't actually, this is my first time watching him ride as well.
Well, he's only 18,
yeah.
So our youngest competitor in the field.
Yeah, youngest competitor right there with Ben Tudhope. So we'll see how Rivera does.
So we could see Rivera and Tudhope battling it out in the future for many years to come, that's for sure.
Yeah,
you know what's killing me, guys, is the powder. Every time we go to that shot and I see these powder lines, like, it looks like you just want to get out there and ride.
Well, you know what they're going to do after they compete right now. All the riders we have in the men's and women's adaptive fields, these are powder hounds.
Yeah,
so you know that, they did practice here in the bank slalom earlier, but I saw more than a couple of them taking off to the sides of this area. Of course, Breckenridge absolutely holding. That was your second final run for Alex Riviera. We'll look forward to a solid time from Alex. 18 years old from Columbus, Ohio. His family is no doubt watching. What up, Riviera family? And here just ripped.
And here is the skater, the surfer, the Hawaiian, Evan Strong.
And he was a good skater before he had his injury too. Like Evan Strong could skateboard quite well before then. He's still a darn good skateboarder.
A solid skateboarder for sure.
39.24 is what Evan was holding on from his first run. And if history tells us anything, he might shave some time off that opening run. And look at the power that he's going into these turns with. You see right there, just pushing both front side and back side through these turns.
And Evan actually taken this year off from competing, other than he's doing the Do Tour, and then he's doing able-bodied events as well. He's going to go try to compete with people without prosthetics. He's going up to Canada to do the NORAM this year. Evan Strong.
We have a new leader, and it's the same leader, a 38.53.
He's gloveless. Are you kidding me?
It's for speed. He just shaved one glove off, and he shaved a full second off his time.
Evan Strong is gnarly, man. I love that guy.
All right, now we're getting down to James Barnes Miller, another snowboarder from Great Britain.
James Barnes Miller on course right now. It's a regular rider. This is the Great Britain team has really stepped up their game lately. These guys are they're training 12 months on snow, like you said. They just had a great training session in Saas Bay. Their team is pretty stoked, and they're saying that their team is going to be, competitive this year.
Well, they got to be hyped with the conditions they have this year. We're seeing some riders that competed here last year. A little bit icy, a little bit windy, a little bit more challenging through the course. But as you see, the times are already showing us that this is the best course we've ever seen for bank slalom here in the adaptive men's and women's snowboard finals, presented by Toyota. The times are dwindling. They're getting shaved off with each and every run.
Yeah, the winner is firing in Colorado, firing here at Breckenridge. Ben Tudhope coming from Australia on course now.
Yes, yeah, out of Manly.
It's Ben's birthday.
It's Ben's birthday today?
It's Ben's birthday.
Happy birthday,
Are you karate
Ben.
kidding me?
How about
Happy birthday, Ben.
Giving him a present, let's take away about a second of time for Ben on this run.
Can you make that call, Chris?
I don't think so.
I don't know if you can make that call.
Can we do
He's
that?
got to do it. He's got to give us that gift of a perfect run.
Ben Tudhope, so is he 18 today? 18 years old. It's a big day down in Australia.
It is a big day down in Manly, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And again, probably one of my favorite styles of this entire field. Just look at his arms flowing through these turns.
Love how he leads it with that left arm, just leads it.
And he's one of those few guys jumping that double right there. We saw him pop and ollie up over that. Ben Tudhope down across the finish line. The time to beat Evan Strong, a 38.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Happy birthday, man.
So after a solid run from Ben Tudhope, we go to Zach Miller from right here, Denver, Colorado. Local crowd behind Zach. And he's giving him a good show right now. You can already tell. See more urgency in these second runs.
See how he preloads those rollers too? I like to see that little preload. Keeps that speed going. Yep. He's like just ollieing before he gets to it.
Yeah, pumps down that transition.
Perfect.
I mean, he knows a lot about dynamic movement as he's a soccer player.
Yeah, there
Huge
you go.
Soccer player. Yeah.
It also tells me he's quite competitive.
Yeah, he's a competitor.
Eye of the Tiger comes out. You know, you see all of our riders at the top of the hill high-fiving, having fun.
Well, the
second they start, they go.
Soccer players can be good actors too.
That's true.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that. Yeah.
Well, and that's there's no judging happening here. This is all time.
This is all time. You don't need to fake anything.
Yeah.
We know our judges are watching for sure.
Zach Miller down across the finish line.
So no red card, no yellow card for him.
Coming up after Zach, it's going to be Alex Massey.
The big Canadian.
Alex Massey.
Mama Massey's out watching for sure.
Now, when you say big Canadian, how tall is this guy?
He's got to be 6'2".
So he's a big dude.
And he used to be about 240. He looks like he's down to like 215. He's in some fighting weight now.
I knew we were going to have an international field stacked with talented Canadians, so I've been preparing myself and listening to a lot of Rush. Been watching Trailer Park Boys. I'm ready for the Canadian domination. And we're seeing some of that right now with the way that these Canadians are riding.
If you're a Trailer Park Boy fan, so is Alex Massey.
Yeah,
Alex.
What do they got, like 30 seasons or something?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Canada represent.
You got to see this guy on a wakeboard. He's unbelievable behind a boat.
What can't this guy do?
We got another Canadian coming through, John Leslie. He'll be waiting to hear. What do they tell him at the top of the starting gate right there? Go fast.
What would you tell him? Just do what you do.
Just go.
Run your race. Yeah. Go down the hill.
John Leslie really being aggressive through those first couple corners, pumping hard, getting that leg up and going. We'll see what happens here.
Well, it looked like Evan Strong had shaved a little bit of time off his first run, so maybe it's that sending a message to the rest of the riders. Time to shave some time right now.
Yeah, John Leslie being pretty aggressive on this one, looking to shave some time for sure.
Literally no time to warm up, 2 runs.
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Yeah, it's full go time here at the Dew Tour. Adaptive men's bank slalom presented by Toyota. John Leslie down across the finish line. The time to beat right now by Evan Strong. We'll see what Leslie's time is.
Good. Again, good clean riding from top to bottom of the field. So coming up after John Leslie, it's going to be Mike Miner.
Mike Miner used to live over in Leadville, worked at Coppermount, drops in switch.
Oh, he's done this before.
There we go.
Tame dog right off the get-go.
Yeah, he's done this before.
He won the best trick contest right there.
Oh, no!
Was that
the best slam contest?
Was he going for back rodeo there in the turn?
Gosh, we didn't need a replay on that.
Get this guy in Dew Tour slopestyle.
Right?
Oh, he would love that. Mike Miner would sign him right up. He'll hop on those rails. He'll hit those jumps. He's in. Full freestyle.
Well, look, 2 medals for that man in Korea, so he's done it in a big way. Bronze, took a gold out there in bank slalom, so he knows how to make it happen.
Well, he just won best trick here in men's adaptive snowboard final.
Look at that.
And now he has second place best trick.
Yeah, big grab there. Front one. Oh, looking for the double.
How about another?
Full freestyle right there.
Manny this. I've got it all.
Mike Miner, bring that skateboard style out.
That was sick. I'd like to see him just take another run to do more tricks.
I'm going to call him Mike Major, like Major Style, because that guy has style for miles top to bottom right there.
Well, you got the Ghetto Boys, of course, representing Houston, Texas, but now also being represented by Dustin Fleming.
Yeah, Team Semper Fi member right here. He was a Marine. And he says y'all. He's a Southern boy for sure.
He's a y'all, sir.
Good Southern boy from Houston. Calls you sir.
Now, where do you think he trains at then?
He trains over at Copper Mountain with Adaptive Action Sports as well.
He goes and stays there for the wintertime and just logs in the hours?
That's right. Lives right down here in Frisco. So he's pretty much Colorado local when he's not in Houston.
Good, clean style.
Yeah, solid riding from Dustin. He's actually really stepped up his game the last couple years. Putting a lot of time on the snow. Dan and those guys over at AAS, they get on snow in November up at Copper Mountain. And you can see it's paying off for Dustin right there.
Well, he was sitting in second place going into this second run. I'm talking about Nadi Surhamari from Finland. We'll see what he's got here. So far, right now, Evan Strong, again, the rider to beat. He's got a 38.54. We'll see what Matty can do here.
Ooh, Matty gets a little loose in that corner, sliding out on his toes.
He's going to just have to hold this thing wide open right now because he knows that Evan took off almost a second on the second time right now. So if he's going to challenge this has to be his best run of the day.
Yeah, Matty's going to have to really push it here at the bottom as he made that slight mistake at the top. I don't know if this is going to be enough to beat Evan Strong. Matty, a solid rider, a big, strong athlete, coming through those doubles, coming down across the finish line. The time to beat of Evan Strong at 38. I don't know if that's going to be enough right there for Matt. 38.91, is that enough to beat Evan Strong?
Evan Strong sitting on a 38.54.
Oh, so that's no, that puts him in that second spot. Is that where he goes?
Here we go from Matty. This is Owen Pick, another rider out of Great Britain.
Matty's probably going, what do I got to do to take Evan out of that spot ahead of me?
Owen Pick, British Special Forces. This guy is pretty awesome. He's also kind of a freestyle rider like Mike Miner. He'll get in the park, hit some jumps, do that freestyle stuff as well. He's really good on the courses that have big air. This bank slalom, there's a few jumps, so we'll see.
I want to go après ride with this dude and listen to some of the stories he has.
Right.
Special Forces out of Great Britain.
Oh,
you know,
my gosh.
he's seen some radical things. There you saw right there, Evan Strong still in the lead, Matty in second.
Zach Miller in third. Owen Pick down across the finish line. Time to beat 38. Unbelievable from the flying Hawaiian Evan Strong.
So from Great Britain, we go down to Australia. From Brisbane, it's Simon Patmore coming up next. Here he goes.
Simon Patmore, one of our upper limb guys.
Look at that edge work right there. So smooth up top.
I'm seriously taking notes because I want to ride better, and I think to ride better, I'm going to watch what these riders are doing. If I want to go faster, I'm taking notes right now as to some of the lines I'm seeing.
Especially for bank slalom, Chris. I mean, these guys know that they know the secret to the fast times.
Yeah, Simon really pushing those toe side turns, getting dynamic through those legs right there.
I was going
to say he's training with Ben Tudhope, so you can see some of that kind of surf style coming through for Simon right there.
Close to the fence right there.
Right on the edge. Simon down across the finish line.
Simon Patmore from Brisbane, Australia. That brings us to our final rider here at the Men's Adaptive Snowboard Finals presented by Toyota. Started with 15 men. They each got 2 runs down this bank slalom. So our last rider of the men's division is Daniel Strasbaugh.
That's right, the hair farmer. He's got quite a beard, this man, on Team Semperfi as well, coming through the military, one of our veterans out here ripping.
Trying to beat the time, currently held down by Evan Strong, the 38.54. And I heard earlier this morning about kind of an unofficial but officially awesome element that we're going to see here at Dew Tour this year. We lost a member of our team, Gerhard Gross, earlier in the year, so there's going to be a bank slalom event in his honor, and anybody can ride that, so it's just a tribute to Gerhard Gross, who was absolutely missed. He brought an incredible vibe to Dew Tour and to everything he did at 10, so thank you to Gerhard Gross, and I know his family will be out here, and they'll be given a special presentation at the Transworld Snowboarding Riders Poll that's coming up later this weekend as well.
That's very cool because anybody can sign up for that. That's going on tomorrow. Looks like the men competition is done right there, and Evan Strong taking home the gold today. We're going to look at some highlights.
Yeah, incredible riding from Evan Strong, as usual, as we expected.
There it is.
Oh, there's Miner.
Oh, man. Miner, I mean, I think when we were in Pyeongchang, when Miner started doing his shenanigans, people were like, what the heck is going on?
More Miner. I vote for more Miner this weekend.
But Evan Strong's just a tough dude to beat, man. He just knows it. He knows what he needs to do. He trains hard, and he comes down. He brings his A game every time. You don't see Evan Strong make too many mistakes.
Well, it's consistency today, too, because we saw Evan Strong come out with that fastest time. He was followed by Sir Hamari and then Zach Miller. So those 3 riders basically held down the top 3 spots throughout this entire competition with their first 2 runs.
And I feel like Matty Surhamari sometimes just ends up in that second spot below Evan a lot of times. I know he sometimes leapfrogs him and he takes the win, but more times than not, I feel like Evan's on top. And that battle continues to go on between those 3.
Yeah, it's always back and forth with those 2, but Evan taking the day here at Dew Tour.
I like it. already on day one. Now we've already given out 6 medals, and we're going to give out 3 more with our women's adaptive snowboard final. They have their second and final runs here. This event, of course, presented by Toyota. We're going to start from the top. Current leader, Brenna Huckabee.
That's right, the girl to beat right here. Very competitive. Brenna Huckabee, if you walk past her on the street, she'll get past you. She does not like being passed. She's the most competitive person I've ever met in my life. Don't ever play a card game with her.
No.
She just wants to win everything.
She's one of the few riders with the exposed technology there on her back leg.
Yeah, she got that moto knee, and she likes to adjust her shock sometimes, so she likes just to get right there, be able to do it. Sometimes with the temperature changes, when it's cold like this, she gets it warm at the top, gets it moving, maybe add some air, take some air out.
Because you can also make the suspension stiffer, or you can make it softer, like as you can on a downhill mountain bike, correct?
It's actually the same shock that's on a mountain bike. They just use quite a bit more dampening.
Or again, that's another something like that.
Oh, you're right.
Yet another element that we talk about is not only the body is affected by temperature changes, but the equipment, the prosthetics that these riders are using, affected as well. So
100%.
we know you got to thank the pit crew at the top of this bank slalom for getting these riders going. And this is Peggy Martin.
Yeah. Our oldest competitor out here today, 54 years old, charging right now.
I want to see her get a full pull top to bottom. I want no mistakes out of her, because I want to see her get down on the base here.
Well, she was charging. So far, Peggy has the illustrious award of Best Slam, which, you know what? If you're slamming, you're doing something right because you're going fast.
You're trying, Chris.
She was going for it for sure on that first run. Hopefully she can get all the way through this second run. If you're just joining us, we're in the middle of the second run of the women's and second and final run.
Yeah,
Brenna Huckabee, our current leader. Peggy Martin on course right now, coming up and over that hip. And this is that turn where she had the problem coming in on that first run. And she's standing solid, stays out of the B-net.
Yeah, there we go, Peggy.
Yeah.
Brenna Huckabee is going to be hard to beat, though, you guys, because look, she's the one with the 2 golds. She's got the bullseye on her back for Pyeongchang, so she's going to be a tough one to eclipse. She's riding really fast today.
Solid effort there for Peggy Martin. So from Peggy, we're going to go to our hometown hero.
That's
local legend, Amy Purdy from right here in Silverthorne, Colorado. She is on Team Toyota. And Amy Purdy, she is just, again, an amazing ambassador to anything she does.
Do you follow her on Instagram?
Absolutely.
She has like
along with about a billion other people.
There's a few people that follow her after her. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out her TED Talk. An unbelievable speaker and pretty inspiring, Amy Purdy's whole story.
And she's been just a really inviting element to adaptive riding. You know that she has inspired a lot of younger riders by showing them exactly what you can do. You know, you forget when you watch her ride, she is, from both knees down, she is riding on 2 prosthetics. So an incredible athlete, Amy Purdy.
I mean, and you can even take it as far as like Dancing with the Stars when she performed on that. Look at what she did and the movements that she did there. Like effortless movements. Like you couldn't even tell there's anything even different. No, that's the way Amy rides.
So cool. Big
smile.
Big smile from Amy Purdy.
Always love that Amy Purdy smile.
The Purdy girl getting her thing done today.
Will that be enough to beat Brenna Huckabee? We will see.
I don't know. I always feel like Huckabee is so tough to beat, you know?
This is representing Corona, California, Kiana Clay.
Kiana Clay, one of our few women with the upper limb right there. This is the first time I've seen her ride, and she was going for it on that first run. Good cold temperature out here for this second run. Sun is shining here at Dew Tour. Beautiful day.
We started off around 6 degrees this morning. We've heated up to a whopping 11 degrees. Things are heating up.
Did you go up there and take a run today, by the way?
Took a couple runs earlier.
Yeah, I did too, and it was cold up there.
The snow is awesome. You see it just floating around on the side of the course.
Yeah, conditions are perfect for these riders today.
Couldn't ask for better. You got untouched powder off to the side everywhere.
Yeah, these guys, I was up there in the training, and a lot of these guys on their way down to the course were getting the powder on the sides of the runs. Yeah.
Slashing.
Hey, that's the perks of being a competitor here at Dew Tour.
Get that early lift, get up there, get some powder.
That's also the perks of being an announcer at Dew Tour, too, as well.
We got to know about the snow conditions. We had to know what we were talking about here today.
Yeah, that's why we go up there. That's why we get here early and take a couple laps before work.
It's just research.
That's all it is. Taking a look at everything.
Kiana Clay down across the finish line. Got a little bit more solid run on that one. But the standings right now, as they say, Sandrine Hamill in third, Amy Purdy in second, and Brenna Huckabee in first. A few more competitors to go.
45.82. That is a fast
You
run.
look at 3 seconds almost over Amy Purdy, who's in that second spot.
Coming up next is Arlene Cohen from Miami, Florida.
Yeah, sunny Florida.
Yeah, the mom from Florida who charges.
We could venture to say she's the fastest snowboarding mom out of Florida.
I would agree with that.
I stand behind that comment.
You can walk out on that plank all day long because that is correct, sir. You are correct, man.
Well, she also, it's on her business card. She handed it to me this morning.
Yeah. See, if you didn't tell me that part, I would not have even known that, Chris.
I made it up.
Okay.
I'm
say it with conviction. And
in watching her ride, she is very fast. She's a mom from Florida, so the fastest mom from Florida, Arlene Cohen.
I'm running with it.
Yeah, she's committed to the winter sports, though. They move over here to Summit County for the whole winter. So she's into it.
Snowbirds.
The whole
Reverse
family.
snowbirds.
Yeah, reverse snowbirds. Yeah, the whole family comes out. So pretty cool to see Arlene out here.
She's putting together a fast run here. You're watching the Women's Adaptive Snowboard Final presented by Toyota. A couple of riders yet to come. That was your snowboarder representing Miami, Florida, Arlene Cohen. Coming up next, Sandrine Hamill, Canadian.
Sandrine Hamill sitting in third place right now. So this could be a run that could compete with Brenna Huckabee. She needs about 2 seconds off of it and could be right in there.
I think she's farther back than that. I think it was 2 or 3 seconds that Amy was back in second, so she'd be about 4 or 5.
So if you're coaching Sandrine right now, what are you saying? Go fast. Go faster.
I would say you're going to need 4 seconds. You're going to have to really, really, really step up your game because Brenna Huckabee is competitive. Sandrine on course right now, coming from Quebec, Canada, so it's super cold out there. She's used to the cold temps, so 5 degrees, 10 degrees, no big deal for her. It gets down in
She's your youngest rider as well, 21 years old.
But Brenna did not make any mistakes. If you look at that run, the run that Brenna put her fastest time in, she was clean top to bottom. So you're going to have to be even more clean than that. You're going to try and take her out of that spot.
Sandrine looking solid, getting some pumps through there. I don't know if this is going to be enough to beat Brenna, though. Brenna did have, like you said, a solid run, top to bottom, no mistakes, flawless, and pushing it.
Yeah, that's another element of bank slalom that you don't really hear a lot about is mistake-free riding. More often than not will get you the win because everybody's going fast. Everybody's facing the same turns, facing the same course, so it's all about where you're placing your turns and mistake-free riding. So in about 20 minutes, we got the Team Ski Challenge. So take a look at the modified Super Pipe. That is truly a terrifying thing of beauty. Can't wait to see what our skiers can do as they come up in the modified Super Pipe. But for now, let's stick to the Women's Adaptive Snowboard Final. This is Danae Russell from Sturgis, South Dakota.
Coming out of South Dakota, motorcycle capital of the world.
Isn't it flat? Isn't it like really flat?
I believe so.
It's not.
We'll have to ask Danae what the snowboard scene is like in Sturgis.
Danae rocking that moto knee as well, so she's into it. She's out here. I wonder where she trains. I don't actually know where she rides, but she is going for it right there on the hip. Wow.
Oh, no.
Stay up. We lost her. Oh, she's back.
She's back.
So and you talk about mistake-free riding, but it's also about correcting the mistakes you make, getting it quick, because a lot of times if you do have a quick slip like that, you could still be in contention and get yourself back up fast enough. So we'll see what the time was for Danae Russell. And coming up next, it's going to be Brittany Corey from Durango, Colorado.
Durangatang riding for the Cass Group.
Here we go. Second to last rider here. Look for some high-speed riding.
Well, then you got to start now. You got to start dealing with grooves, because now grooves are starting to develop because people have been riding this course pretty much all day long.
Yes, and some ruts.
So where you want to be in might not be in the spot is going to be the fastest spot. So you want to try and avoid the ruts, avoid the grooves, and keep it going. Keep that speed going.
So do you follow Madonna's rules and get into the groove, or do you make your own groove?
That's a good call.
I would say you get into the groove. Why wouldn't you?
If you stay in the groove, that prevents you from washing out, having tail wash, and that keeps you on your track and your line.
Well, when you get into the groove, you've got to prove your love for speed.
You definitely do.
That's what Brittany Corey just did. So we mentioned it just a little bit earlier. A fallen team member. We lost Gerhard Gross this year to just a horrible, cancer. Took another good one. So we hate cancer, and we loved Gerhard Gross, and there will be a specialty event on this bank slalom.
That's awesome.
We're going to ride for Gerhard. We're going to go fast for Gerhard.
That's right.
We're going to see highlights of that for sure later this weekend.
That's going on tomorrow, and you can still sign up, I believe.
I think you two should sign up.
Yeah,
because I know you guys are.
Yeah, I would totally do that, but I got to work.
I'd love to do that.
All right, last rider of the women's adaptive snowboard final presented by Toyota is Michelle Salt, a Canadian. She is flying.
She is going to need to have a really good run here. Wish on that lucky star above.
And she was actually
more Madonna.
Sorry,
let's keep it rolling.
I couldn't think of any other Madonna song.
You guys love the Madonna right there. Michelle Salt.
It's Chris's fault.
Yeah.
He made me do it.
She's a big motocross rider as well. Loves being on. Actually, how she lost her leg was a motorcycle accident. So, but she gets back on the bike. She's ripping. So she's into the action sports for sure. A real estate agent out of Alberta, Canada. Michelle Salt down across the finish line. Our final and last woman here at the Adaptive Bank Slalom.
I would buy a house from her.
Yeah.
I would buy a house from her tomorrow.
And there you see, stoked at the bottom of the hill.
Do you think she was stoked on her run, or the fact that I said I was going to buy a house from her?
I think all of those things. I think all of those things. That was her best run for sure. The ladies killed it. They stepped it up already from what we saw last year. So you just witnessed the fastest ever Dew Tour men's and women's adaptive snowboard final. Let's take a look at some of the highlights we just saw from our 10 ladies, some of the best and fastest adaptive snowboarders on the planet competing here at Breckenridge.
I got to give it up for all the ladies, all the guys too, all the riders out here today throwing down. We got to give it up for the Dew Tour too, putting this thing together and making this happen right here. And that young lady right there, the 54-year-old mom, crushing it out there today.
Very cool. Want to thank Toyota bringing adaptive sports to the Dew Tour. Very cool. Brenna Huckabee taking the win. Amy Purdy. And then
there was Sandrine Hamill.
Sandrine Hamill taking third place. Wow.
Yeah, I love it. It's day one of Dew Tour. I mean, we're barely cracking into the afternoon here, and now we've already given out 9 awards. So we've just witnessed an incredibly the fastest ever from Dew Tour here in Breckenridge, Colorado. I want to thank you guys for joining us for our first event of the adaptive men's and women's. The finals just went down. Incredible. These snowboarders literally built for speed. They proved it right there. Congratulations to Evan Strong and Brenna Huckabee. So coming up next, we've got more action live from Breckenridge. You are watching Dew Tour 2018. Stay tuned. Check it out. The modified Super 5 is coming right at you. We'll be right back with more from Breckenridge.